Hey guys, it's Lori. So, welcome to part three of Communicating with Spirit. I just wanted to talk today a little bit. I'm going to try to make it quick about hauntings. And not only hauntings, but um, when spirits, energies, entities kind of hitch a ride on us, because that can happen. Sometimes there are attacks, sometimes something has hitched a ride, sometimes we've opened doors. So let's start with just like the regular haunted house, or if you're having like paranormal experiences and that kind of thing. Sometimes places hold an energy. If something really traumatic has happened there, or something major, it almost leaves like a fingerprint, like an imprint. So picture like a recorder, just recording over and over and over again. And sometimes people, depending on how sensitive they are to spirit energy or paranormal energy, and how strong the energy is, sometimes people pick it up. That is an unintelligent haunting. What that means, it doesn't mean it's stupid. It means it can't interact with you. It's kind of just like on a cycle. You could walk right through it. It's going to be exactly the same thing. So there's that. And then there's intelligent hauntings. And what an intelligent haunting is something, it's a spirit that can interact with you. Now, there are all kinds. There's poltergeist energy. Poltergeist energy is really, poltergeist just means, God forgive me for not knowing Webster's definition, but um, it's basically like chaotic energy, playful energy. Sometimes they can go a little overboard. But another thing that happens with poltergeist energy is sometimes it's not supernatural at all, or I shouldn't say it's not paranormal. Sometimes, many times, it's due to the energy created by the people, like teenagers, high hormones, or um, even in with women when they're having their monthlies or whatever, could hormonal things that are off target can create like this chaotic energy that comes across like a paranormal. There's also many minerals and um, stones and just different organic materials that can give you symptoms of like a paranormal. So the first thing that you should do if you think you're living like in a haunted house or something, and if you have the ability to look around outside, see what's outside, see if there are any gases in the house, see if there's anything on the foundation, anything like that, because some of these things can actually they emit some kind of energy that makes you feel like you could, like you're being watched, or like it can change sleep habits, all that kind of stuff. So it could be that. Always try to find out if there is some kind of explanation in this physical realm. Don't just jump right to the paranormal. But there are disembodied spirits out there. Um, Nobody knows for sure, but I think some are maybe people who don't realize they're gone. They don't know that they're dead, and they keep living, in their same space. I've often wondered if they see things the way they are like now, or if they continue to see the structure as it was when they were there, like in their realm. You know what I mean? I don't know. Those are entities that'll sometimes, okay, they'll share the space with you, but they're kind of like, "What are you doing in my house?" I've seen that happen. Um, and then there's other spirits that child spirits I don't trust, because they're very rarely child spirits. You see, children, um, they haven't really reached an age of accountability yet. So if they die young, they die in innocence, so to speak. I mean, not that they were completely innocent, but they die in innocence. It's almost like they're too young to willfully do anything. So they would. Why would they still be here? You know. I guess there could be a time or something where if they pass quickly, they don't know that they passed or something like that. But usually, child spirits, I really distrust right away. Um, if somebody is if it's a person that hasn't crossed over, they're either afraid to cross over because under their belief system they thought, they're afraid of punishment, um, or they're not willing to let go of material things, um, or they don't know their dad. Those would be the three things. And you can do something to try to help them cross over, because the fact of the matter is this is our realm, not theirs. They don't belong here. It's not good for us. It's not good for them. A lot of people say, fine, they can stay here, and I understand that way of thinking, but it's not good for them either. They're not meant. If they're not in body anymore, they shouldn't be here. They have some place to be. Um, then we also get into like negative entities and energies, and negative energies and entities will pretend to be whatever, you know. And I know a lot of people don't believe in evil, but I've seen it. I've confronted it straight on. I believe in evil 100%. I know it to be true, you know. Um, and evil doesn't present itself as evil 9 times out of 10. Okay, it's going to present itself in a way. It might be, a dream come true. You might think it's an angel. You might think it's one of your loved ones. You got to be very discerning with this stuff. Don't immediately um, just trust the spirit. You've got to be very discerning, and you've got to be discerning with the people in your life too. So if you have a demonic entity, I would suggest not trying to fight it yourself. I would suggest getting somebody in there that knows what they're doing, that has a strong, solid faith and foundation. Um, I mean, if you have a solid faith and foundation, then by all means, but don't underestimate the power of these things, I guess is what I'm saying. Um, because they can do all kinds of if it's demonic, yeah, that's when people start getting scratches, and things can fall over. Some people have talked about they've never been suicidal in their life, and then they live in this place, and all of a sudden it's as if somebody's saying, go get the knife, go get the gun, take the pills, whatever. um I mean, I've had balls thrown at me out of nowhere. Hangers we had, like, in one place that we went, because I usually bring somebody with me. Um, we had these. There were these hangers hanging up, and all of a sudden they started like moving just a little bit, just enough to go. Did that move? Did it move, or is it in my head? And then it moved a little bit more, and then they all kind of came off. They didn't come flying at me, but they kind of came off, and we were sitting like right underneath them. There was one place I went where there was these two teenage girls, and the woman that was with me felt this thing. She couldn't see it, but she felt it like come right up in her face, and she's like, Lori. And when I went over and rebuked it, the young girl, the younger of the girls, comes running upstairs, and she takes a Bible out of the bookshelf and she throws it across the room. That girl's eyes, like I'm telling you, there was something with that girl. Probably had something attached to her. That's one thing you got to be careful of too. Now, how do things attach? There's so many different ways. We got to be. People don't really. Well, some people do, but a lot of people don't understand that in this realm, we're in the physical realm. We need to be in body, to be here, to survive here. But there are beings, good beings, angels, all around us. Some people believe in fairies and stuff like that. I mean, whatever. There is a hierarchy, though. There definitely is. On the good and the bad. It's like the kingdoms, and there is order to this. It's not like they're just like all over. They all have their certain roles, and I only know what I know, what I've learned. I'm still open to more learning. That's one thing. Any work with the paranormal, with the supernatural. If I could tell you anything, I would tell you this: arrogance will get you nowhere but hurt, or it could get the people around you hurt. Um, Humility is the best way to be. Not vulnerable, not weak, but humble. You know the hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? You can beat these guys, but not in your own power. You can't. Maybe some of them, but no, not the higher ones. You know, they're master manipulators. They're master liars. They can come and they can disguise themselves. They have the ability to see things and know things about us. Um, So, okay, so you could run into this how? Okay, it could be in a place, like I said before. Sometimes the energy is left behind from a traumatic event. Sometimes brand new home, brand new construction, and somehow something gets in. One of the symptoms is unexplained anger or irritation, strife within the family that wasn't there before. All of a sudden, there's conflict, right? And sometimes it's hard to say, was the conflict there first? Was the spirit there first? Because a lot of conflict and that kind of thing can open a door to them. But also, when they're there, they can cause it. So you really got to do like a mini investigation while helping people. Um, so it's really good to be humble, and arrogance is going to block you off from learning. Arrogance is going to block off your awareness. Believe me, the negative entities, demons, whatever, want you to be arrogant, okay? They don't want you to trust people who know or trust people who've been there before. They want you to be like, yeah, I can do this. I'm all set. What was that guy's name that read a book and then ended up doing automatic writing and ended up actually having um, it's called Four Nights with the Devil. That's the name of the book. I can't remember the guy's name, but if I remember it, I'll put it down in the description. It's a really interesting read. He was an atheist when he started, but he was seeking something. Um, so yeah, please, like, check yourself. Live in gratitude, faith, and forgiveness. Because not only will that keep you humble and open and aware, discernment, major important, but also when you're putting a shield of protection around yourself. Forgiveness, love, gratitude, that puts a shield of protection around you. Arrogance is going to leave you wide open, and you'll be like they're just their little play toy, and you won't even know it until you get to a point where it's too late. Well, I don't want to say it's too late, but you're not at the point of no return. But it just gets more and more difficult to lose these things. um, so with stuff, especially used stuff, but if somebody makes something for you, make sure you know the creator, you know the person who made it, because people can make things and put intention into it and then give it to you with a smile on their face, and that thing has just opened the door to many, many things, or to bad luck. Hexes, curses, that kind of thing can come through stuff. Watch people's words. Be careful around people. People can be, you know what, even if they don't intend to, maybe they're carrying something. So you got to be careful what you let into your house. If you buy something like at a used flea market, or a yard sale or whatever, it's okay to buy those things, but cleanse them. Do a little spiritual cleanse before you bring them in your home. If you can do research on it, great. Don't buy wedding rings and stuff like that in a pawn shop. I always say to my kids, like, great, it's cheaper, I understand, but if it's in a pawn shop, chances are they either got divorced or somebody died. Chances are the marriage didn't go well. I could be wrong. It could be both parties died and the kids pawned the stuff. But usually, if somebody pawns their wedding rings, things didn't go all that well. You might not want to buy that energy and bring it in. Um, Believe it or not, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but sex is a big one. It's the closest two people can be physically together, but it's also very intimate emotionally and spiritually. Um, and think about it this way, since the day and age of AIDS, and people became much more aware of STDs and that kind of thing. We know that when you're sleeping with somebody, you're also sleeping with what, like the last five people they slept with or whatever. Well, it's the same thing spiritually. You are so your spirits are meshing, and you are vulnerable and open to whatever spirits, you know. And it's not just on that person, it's on, like, back. It's a tough one. That's why, sleeping around ain't a good idea. It's not a good idea. And it's not like because I'm some, pristine religious freak. It's because I know how dangerous it can be. Um, who do you allow in your home? People, people can bring things with them. So basically, the bottom line is just really be careful. Live in a shield of protection, forgiveness. Don't allow yourself to be offended. If you find yourself being offended, think about it. Why is this offensive to me? Can I walk away from it? Because you know what? If something offends me, like if I see something that's perverse or something and it offends me, I walk away from it. I don't choose to involve myself in it or continue to watch it and then talk about it or let it bother me for the next few days or whatever. Try not to be offended, okay? Because other people have their right to be who they are, whatever. If it's offensive to you, don't involve yourself. If you must, for some reason, like try to remove yourself. And if you must participate for some reason, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Really, just work it out. You know, at night, a accountability list or like a checklist of the day for yourself and for others. Release it. Release. In the morning, wake up with gratitude. In the evening, release. That will build a shield of protection. I think I told you about the two sisters who became offended, angry with each other. And they had legitimate reasons from what I can remember. It was something over a man, but it was legitimate reasons. They weren't just being petty. And for years they had this buildup, and one said to the other, "Well, I wish you'd die," or something like that. And she ended up getting really sick. And then the sister came to the hospital to apologize. And the other one said, "Well, it's not just you. I was holding a resentment as well." So by the sister that did get sick holding that resentment, she was wide open to that attack. Sometimes we don't know about attacks either, okay? Like sometimes a whole family can be attacked. If somebody's like, they want this great family, they see your great family and they go, "Oh, no, I'm not going to have any of that." Sometimes you can't help, like maybe a family member is involved with somebody that is into not so nice things and they do a hex or a spell or something. If you're not giving back that energy, you're putting up a shield, okay? Don't, you know what? Don't just turn your head or snub your nose at this stuff either, though. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't make it real, doesn't make it powerful. You can say, "Oh, that's not going to affect me because I don't believe in it." Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. I have seen people definitely be affected by a curse and they had no idea. Like they didn't believe in it. They thought that was silly. But it still can work. Remember we talked about how powerful our words are? Well, some people, there are some religions, some spiritual practices. I don't know if I want to call them all religions. They're not. Some are religions, some aren't. But there are spiritual practices where people, this is what they do. That's their position in life. Um, Especially like in on the islands in Africa, different parts of Africa too have different things. Haiti, well, that's the islands, I guess. Certain parts of the U.S., there are different things that, we have Wicca and a lot of Wiccans do spells and stuff like that. And then we have like hoodoo and voodoo or houdon or voodoo. I'm not sure because I'm not a practicing priestess, I guess it would be. I'm not a expert in that, but I do know a little bit about it. I know enough that I know that it's real, and I know that they have these spirits that they work with, these deities that they work with, that can be really dangerous. What bothers me a little bit is in today's age of technology, and nothing against that. I have nothing against YouTube, obviously. Here I am. But there are things that are dangerous that can be, some people irresponsibly present them knowing that their audience is maybe 10 to 12 years old or even younger. I don't know about you, but when I was really young, I was up for anything. I'll try it. Yeah, sure, I'll try it, you know? Um, it can be very dangerous. There was a girl not too long ago, back in April of this year, 2020. I don't know the whole story. Some people are saying it wasn't even true, but from what I looked up, it looked like it was true. And we don't know what really happened, but I guess she did have anxiety. But I think her name was Caitlin. I could be wrong, but I think it was Caitlin. And she was in Virginia Beach, and she was Wiccan, according to her. According to her social media post, she was Wiccan. I tend to think she didn't know a whole lot about Wicca either, because she sounded like, just from what I read, she sounded like she was kind of eclectic, thought it was cool, she could do anything, mess with anything. That's why I tell people, don't just mess with anything. It's dangerous stuff, okay? I remember I had one girl say to me one time, and I know I'm being off track, I'll finish the story, but she had said she was talking about wanting to learn and wanting to open up her spiritual gifts, and I think she wanted to learn to read cards or something like that. I don't have anything against cards. I don't have anything against pendulums. I don't have anything against anything, except Ouija boards. I don't like those, um, but I think playing with something without any kind of foundation, you're opening a door. You've got to understand that. Any tool, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you could use a piece of cardboard, for gosh sakes, So I had said to her, well, I do think you should find a mentor that you trust, that is, found solid in faith, and so somebody, like, don't just read a book and try it. That's too easy. Yes, you might be one of the lucky ones, but you're also opening doors to, you're putting yourself in the danger zone. And she told me later that she thought I was just trying to make some money and get another client. It doesn't have to be me, as long as they're solid foundation. They're not dealing with the dark side, right? Anyway, this girl, she claimed to be Wiccan. Like I said, I know a lot of people who are Wiccan who, I don't know, she was only 19. I guess she hadn't grown enough to be responsible. She was playing with stuff she shouldn't have played with. But anyway, what she claimed to be Wiccan. But then, I guess she had this girlfriend who was black. They broke up. She decided she wanted to do a spell on her girlfriend. That's how it started. When they were still together, and I'm only going off her social media. So she wanted to do a spell on her girlfriend, and then she probably did it, and it worked, but it backfired on her. Now they're broken up, her and the girlfriend. I don't even know who the girlfriend was. I just know that she was black. And this girl, Katie, or Catherine, or whatever her name was, Caitlin, was white. And I don't know if the girlfriend practiced any kind of hoodoo or voodoo or anything like that. Maybe she did. Maybe that's where Caitlin got the ideas from. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. But next thing you know is, like, I don't know, a couple weeks later, 3 weeks later or something, she's posting how she wants to work with one of the Loas, and that's like these deities of that religion. And if I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. First of all, she had no. That's a closed practice. What that means, like, Christianity is an open practice. It's open to anybody. Come on in, we'll teach you whatever. There are certain spiritual practices that are closed. That means they're only open to those of the bloodline, whatever that spiritual practice is. Okay, you have to be of that bloodline. I don't even know if you can be taught by somebody, like a priest or priestess, that I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I know that you're born into that bloodline. You can't just, like, play with those. You can't just call out to those deities if you're not part of it. But she did, and whatever she did, I know she was making you know, like those little dolls, you know, the dolls you put the pins, voodoo dolls or whatever, which aren't even technically from the original voodoo. It's European mixed. Anyway, um, and then she posted she had seen one of them. I cannot remember his name, but she claimed that she had seen one of them, and she was afraid. And then 2 days late, was it 2 days? It was either 2 or 3 days after she posted that she was afraid, she died in her bathtub. Now, her best friend, had said that she had a major anxiety attack in her bathtub, and that's how she died. I don't know. I know that when I worked in Hooksett many, many years ago, I had a guy from the islands come in and ask me about, he showed me a picture, asked me about this person and how they died, and all I could get was that they were choking. I'm like, somebody is choking. I think it was a female. Somebody is choking her, but I said, there's nobody with her. It's really strange, but she's being choked. And he knew exactly what I was talking about. He said it was voodoo. And he said he knew who was behind it. Anyway, do I think that messing with the paranormal led to this girl's death? Yeah. Even if it was an anxiety attack, maybe she started seeing things, you know? Maybe it wasn't even the deity that she thought it was or that other people think it was. You know, you open the door to the dark world, and she's trying to do something against her girlfriend. Right there, you've opened the door to darkness. Don't try to do something against people, no matter how unfair they are to you. Um, look at I mean, I know so many people just write this off as like it's not real, but I know for a fact it is. I mean, I remember one time, um, I think I might have told this story before. I have so many, but I was down in my basement, and I started to walk down the stairs, and I saw three men down there, and they were in physical form. So I turned around. That's where my washer and dryer was. That's the only reason I was going down there. And I turned around real quick and tried to open the door, and I couldn't open it. It was like it was locked. It felt like it had a deadbolt on it, which I know the door did not have a deadbolt. But I'm opening it, and the knob's turning, and it's not opening. And the men had walked away, but I didn't hear them like leave out the bulkhead, so I knew they were still in there. And I could hear like laughing, but it was like that maniacal laughing, like of spirit. It didn't sound like the three men. I was terrified because I thought three physical men were in my basement. So I'm pounding on the door, and my oldest son at the time was probably 16 or 17, maybe a little bit older. He's on the other side. He's like, let go of the knob, Mom. And he's trying to open it. And I let go of the knob. He turns it. I could see it turn, and he's opening it. He's like, Mom, let go of the door. I'm like I'm not holding it. He's like it's locked. I can't get it. I can't get it. It wasn't locked on either side. And I don't get afraid of spirit, really. I mean, I have, like the time I ran down the hallway, like the dream was real, but that was a different story. It's in another video. I'll go into it another time if you want to hear it. But this is, and I'm like pounding. I was like hysterical because I have been attacked in the physical realm, and I was freaking out. And I just, and I could feel, I don't know what happened to the three men. In my mind, they were hiding over there, but I could feel like this darkness, like almost coming in on me. And I'm pounding on the door, and I'm like, open it up, open it up. And Josh is like, I'm trying, I'm trying. And then all of a sudden, I just screamed out, Jesus, help me, or something like that. I don't know if I said, Jesus, help me, or Jesus Christ, or something. And the door just opened up. My boy, he ran right past me, ran down there to see. There's nobody down there. And those three men, they looked physical. They didn't look, like a spirit. They looked like three men, like I said. Speaking of being attacked in the physical, not only, and I'll do a whole other video on this one because I want to talk about walk-ins and leaving your body, that kind of thing. Not astral travel necessarily, but like leaving your body, detaching, disassociating, not in the mind, but the spirit. But somebody that's hurt, raped, attacked severely physically, um, sexually abused, even sometimes severe verbal or emotional abuse, especially a young child. That, now, that through no fault of the victim at all, but that energy, that act, is such an evil act that it opens these doors up. And many times, the victim has like these, entities hitching a ride their whole life after that. Spiritual counseling, spiritual growth, spiritual cleansing is extremely important after any kind of abuse or sexual assault or physical assault or sometimes even some verbal assaults. So I don't know if I answered any questions in this one, but I know I can't even see because of the light behind me. I can't see the screen, so I don't know how long I've been going, but I have a feeling it's probably been a while. So this has been part 3, kind of hauntings. Next, I do want to talk about, spiritual walk-ins and disassociating spiritually and that kind of thing. And maybe you've had some experiences like that. You know what? If you've been the victim of something like that, and you've been through, counseling, or it happened a long time ago, or, whatever, you feel like emotionally you're good, or even if you're not, but, if you feel like you're good and it's still, I mean, we're going to have soul wounds and stuff like that, but if you feel like maybe, you ever feel like you got a sign on your head? Like, yeah, treat me like dirt, something like that. It could be spiritual. It could be a spiritual wound. It could be a spiritual attachment. So call me or somebody like me and get some work done, spiritual work done. If somebody tells you, oh, yeah, I can remove that for $500, and then you come back and they go, oh, yeah, it's going to be another two, don't go to somebody like that. I'm not saying people shouldn't get paid for what they do. That's a big subject on so many people. I even saw one, Danny and the Magic Drunk Drawer. She does tarot readings like live, and she'll answer people's questions. Danny's a sweetheart, and I saw somebody in her comments the other day, and I didn't want to start anything in her comment section, but it was on a live anyway, so it was scrolling really, fast. But wanted to know, was doing like a investigate, I can't even talk, on people getting paid for using their gifts. And I just want to say, for Danny, for me, for anybody who does anything like this, there are certain things that, yes, of course, you just pass along for free. And Danny, I know for a fact, myself and other people that are working in integrity, absolutely offer discounts, free stuff. I do more stuff without that's non-billable than I do that's billable. Okay, that's why I get so upset when people, why do you charge at all? Well, because I have to eat, because my family has to eat, and because when you are doing this stuff, you don't have time or energy to do the other stuff. And then people say, well, do the other stuff and give this up. You can't if it's who you are, if it's your calling, if it's part of your purpose. So there it is. But I can tell you, I can't tell you about Danny or anybody else, but I can tell you for myself, I do more non-billable work than I do billable. And if I could do it all non-billable, I would. I would still take donations, though, because if you give too much of anything away, you create an imbalance. And then that's actually doing more harm than good for everybody involved in this situation. I hope that helps clear things up. Definitely, I know many people out there that pretend to do what I do or what Danny does or whatever, and they take advantage of people, but not everybody. Not everybody. Most people that are truly gifted, they're doing it to help you, and they just simply have to make a living too. It's that easy, and that's simple. And Danny's time is worth money. My time is worth money, right? And you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. You go see somebody who I don't know. I don't know. I've seen clients have come back to me and told me, I went to see this person and blah 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 blah, and I felt really dark and evil afterwards. Well, be careful of that too, especially, gosh, there's just so many things you have to be careful of. I'm not trying to say you have to walk around in a bubble, but just, the best thing that you can do is if you have a solid faith foundation and you're living in love, forgiveness, gratitude, faith, and belief, and you're not letting the sun go down on your anger, and you're practicing raising your vibration, then you're walking in much more protection. It's not, you know it's not like you have to walk around in a bubble. Don't do that, god forbid. We're here to live, you know so anyway, I hope you guys all had you hear my cat. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I know sometimes I tend to be long-winded. It's my Oliver. I don't know if you can see him, but yeah, just cut people a break. Don't be so judgmental like that about, like, why do you charge? But you know what? If you don't like it, don't look, don't watch, don't hire somebody. Anyway, be blessed. Have a great night. I hope you all doing good. And yeah, if you need some help, definitely reach out. All right. Talk to you guys soon. I'll be back soon.